Film Companion gets you your film fix. Hit the bell icon and subscribe to get notified every time we drop a new video.
Hi, everyone. Such a pleasure to have all of you on Film Companion. We have, of course, gathered around because it is the 10th anniversary of Instagram, and you are all big grammars and you're using the platform so well, all of you. You know, Instagram has over 1 billion users on around the world, but 170 million in India. And 5 of those are you. Um, right now, to be an Instagram influencer has become like a aspirational career choice. It's something people want to be. But so I want to begin by kind of getting a sense of how do you actually do this. And Asha, I want to start with you. You built a brand around fashion and beauty and travel, and I read lots of interviews where you talk about how much you put into it. So give me a sense of your day. How much of the day do you actually put into building this feed?
I usually plan my content maybe a day or two before the day that I'm going to shoot. And each picture and video that's probably just like 10, 15 seconds takes a couple of hours in the planning, the styling, the edit, music choice, all of that. So yeah, it's not an easy job, but it's fun.
I guess because it looks so glamorous, everyone thinks it's easy.
Yeah, I guess.
So Arman, you have some 9 million followers. And I was just wondering, do you wake up with the pressure of that? Like, what am I feeding the beast today? How am I keeping the Armanians happy?
Actually, no, because I've reached this comfortable space now with my fans that I can be very casual with them. I can be in my living room and just put up a selfie. And Pele, it used to happen when I was building the whole, base. I had to be very particular about what I'm putting out. Even today, I am. But the fans like to see the real Arman at home doing normal things. I think that's what people are really relating to. And I don't have any pressure as such. But yeah, there's a sense of responsibility because you stand for something and there are 9 million people listening to you and listening to what you have to say. So you have to be, very, very in there, focused what you're putting out, word everything properly. You can't, just take it for granted. You have a responsibility there. There's so many people listening to your voice.
Pooja, you're almost at 8 million and you were Instagrammer of the year for food. And I have to tell you all that Pooja is the first person I met who really loved Instagram. Okay. I remember we were at a wedding together and she was photographing everything.
I'd like to believe that I pushed you a lot to post more.
You did. Absolutely. But yeah. Tell me, Pooja, as your handle has become bigger and bigger, as your influence has grown, as you've become more famous as a pastry chef and more in demand, how has it changed? Are you, is there a team now? Are you still kind of trying to put your own voice into every single post? How do you balance that?
So, like Arman said, it comes with a lot of responsibility as well, and not something that I take for granted at all. A lot of this has been organic, but it's also been, many years of continued effort. I think food as a medium just takes, Instagram is a beautiful medium for food, and I've just taken it, since the first day that I got the phone. I know people struggle. They're like, what do we post today? For me, you have to snatch the phone away from my hand and be like, stop.
Tell me, do any of you struggle with what is public and what is private? Because this is something that I really, and I still struggle with it. I didn't, of course, grow up. I'm too old for social media. So I didn't grow up with social media. So everything is like, oh my God. So like Pooja was saying, she literally had to push me into like post more. How do you guys decide? And how do you decide that this is a moment of my life that I'm going to put out there?
I feel like, I mean, especially when it comes to, social media in totality, the idea of the platform, of any platform for that matter, and specifically Instagram, is to get people to connect and share things that they are, commonly inclined towards, and hence build a node of culture that then, sort of travels and people get influenced by that. And because of that being the primary reason, if I have to look at what is public and what is private, I'd always go back and ask myself as a creator, what's my intention on the platform? If my intention on the platform is to create some kind of a real life depiction of me, where I'm going to talk about every single aspect of my life, and that is going to inspire my audience, and that is the authentic voice of me as a creator, please do it. Casey Neistats of the world are bloggers on a day-to-day basis for 3 years in a row, and I think they haven't kept anything private. But also at the same time, knowing that there are a lot more parts about their life that are private, but much more public than our life, of my life as a creator, right? For me, I think I used the platform, and my intention was to build community, use my voice as an individual creator to own my identity as a person who was born and brought up in Bangalore, but my parents are from Kerala, so that the whole sort of confusion that every single youngster who's living in different parts of the country because of your geographical limitations, the place where you were born, what language you spoke, all of that were defining identity moments of your life. And the internet came and broke that completely. It said, dude, there is this one place where every single person across all kinds of likes, dislikes, love, hate, passion points are coming together. And now you decide how you want to play with them. What do you want to, sort of do with that community? For me, it was to build India's largest youth brand, its youth community. For me, it was to represent my own identity that I was confused about, and then find that clarity and share that clarity with the rest of the audience. So I feel like intent plays a very critical role. So I think mine's more of a private. My space on the internet is only to depict what I want to talk about. It's not about every single thing. But I also appreciate creators who can do that, because it's extremely ballsy and really powerful as a tool to be able to have that kind of energy passed on to your audience on a day-to-day basis. It's insane.
Yeah, I totally agree with Anto. I've also kept some things for myself, which nobody knows. For that question, when somebody asked me in an interview that what is that one thing that nobody knows about you? If I say everything in my videos and talk about all the things that I do in a day, then nothing would be interesting after that. So yeah, I've also kept some things.
बॉलीवुड के खिलाफ देश के लोगों का गुस्सा बढ़ता ही जा रहा है और देश के कोने कोने तक जा पहुंचा है। देश के ऐसे ही एक दूर दराज के गांव से हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे एक व्यक्ति, और हम उनसे जानेंगे कि ये बॉलीवुड की हीरोइन है कौन से खेत की मूली, माफ कीजिएगा मेरा मतलब था कौन से खेत का माल फूकती हैं।
But Saloni, with you, it's also a more, let's say, a more prickly, content that you're dealing with, right? You're making satire, you're doing comedy, and you're a equal opportunity offender, right? You don't care कि ये right है, वो left है, ये liberal है, ये conservative, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, right? You are teaching us and showing us how to laugh at the things that are comedy in our lives. Tell me, how much do you censor yourself? Do you ever stop to think कि अरे ये joke बहुत funny है, then you say नहीं इससे तो बवाल मच जाएगा, let it go.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever do that?
I obviously do that. I mean, I'm just 20. I can't handle that kind of a pressure. See, my career has just started and I can't deal with something like नहीं आज अपना दुकान बंद कर लीजिए अब आप. Now you can't do that, because they have that power. They can shut down everything. People tend to get offended. So I obviously censor my scripts. Earlier, I used to just open my camera and just used to, blurt out words. I didn't even have a script. But now I write a proper script and then I edit it. I mean, it's kind of, sometimes it's like 1 or 2 drafts of the same script. So yeah, I don't want to offend anybody, and it's just tongue-in-cheek humor what I do. I don't target people with their names, calling out names. That's not my task. I just, satire is like that only. You say everything and nobody gets offended.
Asha, what is the pressure on a beauty influencer? Do you always have to look good?
Okay, there was a point where I felt that was the case, that, I always had to like have my makeup on and be dressed well, because what if someone recognizes me? But something that I've learned over the last like year or more is that the more real you are, even though your content is beauty related, like we have stories on Instagram where you can actually come and talk to your audience, and that's the place where I actually go without makeup and I talk, sometimes before I go to bed, sometimes in the morning, and that makes me a lot more relatable to my audience. And I've honestly felt that people like my opinions and consider my recommendations and basically use my, like, whatever I talk about on my platform, they actually take it seriously so much more now than they did before. Because before I was under pressure that I have to look good and everything has to be perfect. But now that I don't feel that pressure, I really feel like that's a lot more relatable and real to my audience. So it's good now.
Arman, as an artist, do you think it's important to have a presence on Instagram? And how much do you think the film industry has changed because of the platform? I mean, I hear all sorts of horror stories that people are even casting directors are looking at Instagram followings and casting people because they want people who have influence, which is, it just boggles my brain. But, as an artist, what do you think is the importance of having this presence?
I think you're right, Anupama. What happens sometimes in music videos when you want to cast someone, the production house or the label says, this person has so many followers, we need to get her as the opposite lead.
So this is happening. It's true.
It is happening. Yes, it is. I think Instagram has become such an important aspect of your personality as a creator. It is a place that people discover. For me, it's been really amazing because I've been able to garner fans from every part of the world, not just India. And when I go to those places, it's so easy for me to just say, hey guys, I'm here in the city. I'm going to be doing this concert at this venue, and those fans from that region get to know about it just through an Instagram post or a story. I think that's the reachability Instagram has. That's the impact Instagram has. And yes, many people get a lot of projects and opportunities with the level of followers that they have on the platform. It is the thing in pop culture. It is just the biggest barometer for anyone to kind of gauge how popular is this person. If we get this person, how big our project will become. So you are right. I mean, whatever you said was completely true. It is very important as a singer and to be active on it. There are a lot of people who are on the platform and aren't active. That affects their business as well. So I am pretty active. So it's helping me.
Okay, I want to talk, guys, about this business aspect of it, right? Because finally, that, of course, it starts out, and like you said, that, you're creating a community, you're putting across a message. I know, you're, of course, very passionate about sort of pulling youth together, about really exploring the potential of young people in this country. How do you all decide when you are offered money for brands, when you're offered money to post, when you're offered money to put a product in your photograph? And I'm sure it's very tempting. I'm sure it's a lot of money. So what are the considerations that go into making that decision? I will do this or I won't do this.
We'd get a brief, we'd look at the brief and we'd say, hey, this is the inventory that I have, which is, stories, posts, reels, whatever it is. And this is how much reach I have in total. And I'm going to be talking to my audience in this way and making sure that they understand that this partnership is authentic. Now, more often than not, more people know that if you increase the pace at which you're putting out these posts, which means you do 2 to 3 branded posts a day, the community themselves starts retaliating. They're saying, no, I also want to see a lot more of what you are talking to me before, before a brand came into play, because the community didn't have brand money in the beginning. So, it is very important to tell the community or tell the followers what exactly is happening at the back end. And this is what I felt would be great, because I said, if I don't tell y'all that I'm going to be working with this brand and this is the idea that I have to sort of work with, and I promise the value of this entire thing is going to come back to you, and a part of that value I will keep because I want to sustain this community as much as possible. And I think when that kind of honesty comes into play, you will see such great community engagement, because till then, everyone's like, they're trying to market something onto my face. I don't want to be a part of this. I want to talk about, let's say I'm creating content on 125 dictionary, just define words. Don't don't talk about anything else. How do you move away from something like that is through the honesty and some kind of context setting. So 99% of the time in the brand world, it is a creator must know it's important to say no than to say yes, because there is no point in having brands when your community is letting go of you. And you don't also need to create just for your community. Do it for what you're passionate about. And these are the two confusion states of confusion that every creative goes through. Do we take this up or do we pass this on? I really need this, but can I make this happen right now? And can the community get that this is being done for the right reason?
I think the chat is ended. Anto said everything.
It's done.
What he said.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hog this.
No, that was wonderful and very, very nation building of you, Anto. But tell me, for the rest of you, is that how it works? Are you also experiencing that sort of kind of an idyllic situation? Yeah, Arman.
When a brand comes together with a celebrity or influencer, it just helps the cause even more when the influencer and the celebrity is using that particular product for themselves. I think it becomes more genuine. The fans also see that connection, and it's not just about the likes. The fan might actually go out there and buy the product if he feels that his idol really uses this on a day-to-day basis and has a great experience with it. So I think it's very important to be genuine with your followers, and I try to do that. I may have lesser brands than people in my space, but I'm very careful and very protective of my community and the fans that I've built.
So, Pooja Ashna Saloni, hand on heart, do you use all the products you are selling?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Oh, lovely. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't use any makeup products, and till date I haven't received any makeup products brand. If they're listening, please send me some. Now I've started to use them.
Najma Api will come with some makeup, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I have upgraded my production quality also. So now I can really use some makeup.
Pooja, you?
So just yesterday, in fact, somebody came to me and said that I had to do this workshop for some kids and talk to them about the importance of education and actually grades in school. And I'm the person in school. My grades were not very good. They were just always, and I always talk about finding something you're super passionate about and working hard, but never really putting a number to it. So I had to say, it was very lucrative, but I had to say it's not something that I personally connect with or believe in. And that's not the messaging that I want to give the people following me. So it was hard, especially given the times that we're in, to say no to something, but it's a choice that you make. And I'm sure that by sticking to what I believe in, something better will definitely come along.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Tell me, do you all think that Instagram creates our values or does it just reflect them?
That's interesting. That's deep.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Let Ento answer it.
Saloni has thrown the curveball at me.
I think it's very, very important, at least as someone in the entertainment space. A lot of people have this whole notion about how you are and how stars are and how pop stars are. I like to keep it real. I like to keep it very simple. I want to be known as a good human being at the end of it. For me, that's my main focus. There'll be views, there'll be likes, followers, but at the end of the day, they'll always remember a good human being. So that's what I always strive to be on my socials as well.
You need to decide, what are you giving an emotional value to? Are you giving an emotional value to somebody's external validation towards yourself? What are you there for? You were there for that particular person giving you X particular, serving this purpose. Suddenly you're giving a value to how many comments do you have? How many likes do you have? How many people follow you? How am I looking in this particular, which filter should I use today? You're taking away from the whole purpose of why you started creating in the first place. You create it so that you can exchange this particular conversation that you had, and we now base everything off that exchange within the external metrics, and that takes away from the joy of creation. So the joy of creation lies not in like the numbers, but what you do. So the value has to be always pegged to what is that piece of content, or what is that update, or what is that service that you are going to give your community. Then you get out of that, start working on the next project, go back, give service again. It shouldn't be give, and say that, at this point, the community has to respect me. This has to be give and take. And I think that's the value system that Instagram or any social media platform should always, we as creators should always go after. Not just the total numbers, because that's really scary. Then you're, jaded by the so-called currency that is created by the number of followers.
Anto, I mean, I hear you, and I'm agreeing with everything you've said. But the truth is that people are measuring you by those numbers.
Yes.
When Arman says that, you're casting a music video and people are saying, nahi, usko le aao because unke Instagram followers zyada hain. Your currency is that number.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. What is the pressure of that? And, all these stories about people buying followers, it's just insane.
Yes,
And I can't tell you how many conversations I'm in with actors, especially with actors, where they kind of just slip in that, oh, so-and-so actor ki to bahut followers hai, but doesn't look all kosher, like there's a credibility issue there, meaning suggesting that, of course, it's been bought. How do you get away from the pressure of that number when everyone's only looking at that number, including the brands?
I'm going to speak.
Yes.
Honestly, this is something I've noticed with creators a lot, because I started out like almost 8 years ago, and there weren't that many influencers. I don't like using that word, but there weren't that many on the platform then. And it was never a number game at that time. But over the years, as new people joined in, then we had different platforms that kind of followers flew in from there as well. And yes, I would agree that brands do look at numbers, but I've also noticed something in the last year or two, that brands also look at the quality of content, and they look at, I think people have now, because the conversation about buying followers is like everywhere, people are now a lot more aware of the fact that, okay, you might have a good number, but your traction is not as great when you compare it to the number. And brands go more for content and the kind of community that you have. So if I post about something and people respond to it in a positive manner, obviously that'll help brands understand that, okay, this person actually has an influence, and it's not just, a random account with random bot followers or something.
Sure.
So yeah, I think numbers were really important, and it is very easy to get carried away in the race and consider buying followers or stuff like that. But when you are true to yourself and true to your audience, I think that's what matters.
I just wanted to add one thing, that see, brands are not that stupid. The first question they ask is that, do you want to do this? And the second question is, send us your insights. They always want to know how many people are actually watching it, because I have seen people with 5 million followers and 10 million followers, and the actual likes on their even photos, because photos generate, so they are like 40-50,000 likes. So they obviously get to know that these are just bot followers. And now everybody knows that if you buy views or buy followers, you can get into trouble.
Okay, but tell me personally, like Pooja, for you, there is of course great fun, and I know that you have always genuinely loved it from the bottom of your heart, but there is the downside, right? We have enough news reports. We've got now the social dilemma on Netflix. We've got enough people telling us that social media is dangerous. It can cause problems. How do you, Pooja, not buy into the trap of A, the number of followers, B, the sort of sometimes the envy you might feel because somebody else is looking better, the insecurity you might feel because some other chef has more followers? How do you deal with all those things?
So I actually had a conversation, I was on a Facebook panel a couple of years ago. And for me, like you said, for the last, Instagram's turning 10, I've been on the platform for 9 years, every day of my life. But in the last 2 years is when this whole spike, I call it on, Instagram on steroids for me. And the follow count, like every time I would open my Instagram page, it would just be like I actually had a conversation with them like, guys, I don't know what's happening. So I'm on the end of people looking at me saying, are you buying followers? And I heard it from a few friends. I heard it from like, really like famous comedians. They were like, what's happening? Because we were all at the same, and now, what's gone wrong? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I was facing daily anxiety when I would open the app and be like, what is going on? Like, why are these followers increasing at this level? And I've actually called Instagram and had this conversation and like, guys, I don't want to be at the receiving end of this. I'm very happy with my community. And I don't know, because with this whole surge, you're at the other end of this, being questioned for things that, like the same thing, like she said, when you look at the engagement for it. So I'm just like, I look at the people and I'm like, who are they? Like, why are they following me? I try to understand who these people are and where they come from. So I definitely do. For me, it's the reverse. Like, I'm just like, what is going on here? So it is, it's definitely, and I'm like, I maybe an ungrateful problem to have, or something that, like, what are you on about? Why are you complaining about it? But I just feel at times that it's excessive. And someone who is in the, I have been in the public eye over the last 8 years, but the last 2 years itself has been on social media has been a little bit, for me, I do think that I have stepped back a little bit, because I'm trying to figure out what is going on. And then, every time I have a voice and I say something, I feel like it's going to be interpreted in a wrong fashion. So I'm definitely there where, I did a little bit about it, about how opening my phone sometimes does give me anxiety. So, I try to do it the other way. I just try to really immerse myself in work. And what I have been doing the last 3 months is trying to see, I have this great platform and a lot of people talk about content to commerce. How can I test this? So this is exactly what I've been doing. Is I've created, small product portfolios for my own brand. And I said, okay, this is a direct to commerce thing for me. I'm going to spend zero money on marketing, but just go and use Instagram as a platform, see the reach I have, and have actual numbers of what we put out versus what the actual sales are. And it's fascinating. And I'm like trying to use that to my advantage and reverse this thing on its head and be like, this is a great problem to have. How do I utilize it to the best of its abilities?
Yeah. Arman, do you struggle with, because in showbiz, everything is public, right? And people are looking at you and maybe comparing you to the next person who's in your bracket and seeing his followers or her followers. How do you, and at one point you did delete all your Instagram posts. And I remember you and I chatted and you told me that it was like almost like a chapter in a book is over and you had moved on to the next one. How do you deal with some of the not so happy stuff that comes with the platform?
So I had a phase where I was looking at quite a few accounts and getting depressed. Looking at, I was feeling like, oh, they are progressing and I'm plateauing for some odd reason, when actually I was doing a lot more work than them. But it always happens. You always compare Instagram profiles and just it affects you. Someone else's work always affects you. I don't know why it does, but it does. So I think I made a very conscious effort to actually reduce the people that I follow as well. I don't want to follow so many people. I'm only going to be following people who inspire me, whose posts I don't feel any anxiety from. And I also have made this a rule. I post my thing and shut off the phone. I try to do that as much as possible, because I had this habit of always pulling the post down and seeing how many likes, how many views, what's happening, what's the traction like. So now, and it's happening even more in this lockdown situations, because I'm just stuck on my phone. Just yesterday, I told my mom, don't message me or call me. I'm just shutting my phone and keeping it on the side. I'm doing my work. Your concentration goes away from like what you have to do. Like Pooja said, I was immersing myself in my work, in what I have to actually do. And if I don't do that, I won't have an Instagram. We have to have a balance of sorts. And I think the new Netflix documentary has really opened my eyes. It's crazy the amount of time that we spend on social platforms. We have to spend it meaningfully. You can't just be there scrolling all day long and not doing anything else productive. So I've tried to keep a balance. I have a alarm set every half an hour or something to stop checking it. So that's what I do. But there is definitely this anxiety, this pressure of seeing another creator's work and feeling probably jealous, probably feeling like undervaluing yourself. I have stopped doing that. It happened last year. After that, I've completely kept it. For me, I'd rather have 5,000 people, 5,000 fans or followers. I'm just giving an example of numbers. I'd rather have 5,000 people actually coming to my concert rather than have 10,000, 15,000 people who don't even mean anything to me. Who are just liking for the sake of liking. I'd rather have real fans, real followers who follow me for me and my music. That's what I stand for.
Saloni, do you do that? Do you look at other people in the comedy space and feel ki, yaar, ye to aage badh gaya?
No, I don't do that. See, I just joined Instagram in 2017. Everybody is ahead of me. So I can't even compare myself with them. They are way more ahead.
There's one thing in that part that I wanted to share. At VidCon, one of the creators came on stage and said this line, and I will never forget that line. He said that the biggest creator on the internet hasn't even started yet.
Exactly, yeah.
And every single day, somebody is joining who's going to beat everybody's numbers. And I think year after year, the keynote speakers at the biggest video conferences, video content creation conferences have been new people who've come and taken over everybody overnight. So Saloni, you're literally the rock star among us.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to share that. Yes.
So you don't do it at all.
Anto concluded my answer also.
Anto,
were you the kind of student who used to top the class every time, beat any subject?
I just want to compliment you, Saloni. That's it.
That's all that I want. But you know,
and you're standing for election soon. Please tell me, Arman talked about putting an alarm on his phone. Who else deals with addiction? Because I struggle with it completely. Okay, Ashna, you do.
Oh my God, that refreshing thing. As soon as you post, you just want to know, are people liking it? Am I getting hate? I used to have my notifications on for comments and it started making me really stressed out. So I stopped that. But yeah, I mean, the first thing you do in the morning is start scrolling. If I'm up at 5 a.m.
We need to stop that. We need to stop the morning thing. Actually, we need to charge our phone in a different room and not on the
That's the best thing to do. That's the best thing to do. I really want to start doing that. Like, not look at my phone in the morning.
Be around your parents. Your parents would always say कि आंखें खराब हो जाएंगी phone I live with my parents and they're always like कि कितना phone चलाओगे आप?
But actually आंखें दुखने
खराब
लगती
है. मेरी तो खराब है.
I'm the only one wearing glasses in this entire gang.
And Anto spends 30 minutes only.
Okay. So to wrap this with, I'd like each one of you to share a practical tip for people. So I know that we should all be authentic and we should all be honest, and we get that. But give me a real practical, honest to God tip that has helped you to be better on Instagram. So Rolly, let's start with you.
See, I used to post my videos from my hostel. I had a wall which wasn't even well painted because it was a hostel. So I used to just hold my phone and started recording. The only thing that matters is your content. That's what I believe. I never spent time on doing my makeup, my hair. I used to wear my brother's t-shirt and used to do videos as Kangna Ranaut. And I didn't even have a wig at first. But then, when you get followers, so I also thought that, if I keep on making videos with the same production quality, someday people would, would get less engagement on my video. So I bought a good phone. I bought a light. So I also started upgrading my videos. But the only thing at the end which matters is your content. If I stop being funny, nobody would give a damn about following me.
Please don't stop being funny, Saloni. You really got us through the lockdown.
This has worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for other creators. But I have been putting multiple pictures. Okay, so like not just one post, but like doing 4 or 5 on the same. and random stuff. Like it's not even like well posed or whatever. It's just casual stuff, just randomly, probably just chilling on the bed or whatever. So I think this has worked a lot. Casual stuff is working a lot on Instagram. People want to see you in your natural state, see you all relaxed and not done up and like they want to see the real you. So I think that is one tip that I like to give creators. The second is do reels as much as possible. Reels is blowing up, and it definitely brings a lot of people to your page, and that's happened with me. I've actually started a series called Request a Reel, which is basically taking song requests from my fans and tagging them and singing that song for them, dedicating it to them. So,
lovely.
I'm doing all these sorts of different things, and it's working for me. So these are the 2 tips that I can give to the creators out there.
Nice.
Real one, everybody should follow that.
Yeah.
Ashna, for you?
I think for me, one thing that I would say I have learned, I didn't know this was true, but I have learned over the years that being consistent is just literally consistency is key. That goes for every job, but for social media especially. The more active you are, the more you will be seen and the quicker you will grow. Of course, reels now. And second, I think would be to stay true to yourself, especially in like the fashion and beauty community. I feel like it's so easy for every piece of content to be similar to someone else's. And as soon as your identity kind of comes through in the content you create, that's what kind of makes you stand out a little more. So those would be my 2 tips.
Anto?
For me, I think one is celebrate confusion. Don't get stressed out. Try 100 things. Post whatever you want. You want to start a podcast, start a podcast. If you want to like make stories and create your own version of it, do that, right? Don't get stuck up with the idea of wanting to be like somebody else, because there is only one version of you, so make the most of it. That's number 1. Number 2 is find ways to meet with or build 1,000 true fans. And this is from a book called 1,000 True Fans. It's beautiful. It's for anything in life, really. If you really put your effort to make 1,000 people believers in what you're doing, you've done half of the job. So go out there. Don't worry about too many other things. Just find those 1,000 true fans, and then you will see growth ever since. So these are the 2 overarching.
Anto Baba, thank you. You have helped me. I think we all need we need to just have a session where only Anto is speaking.
Oh my
There's so much
God.
to learn.
And
Thank
Pooja,
you so much.
what has helped you?
So I think, just what everybody said holds true as well. I do think when I don't overthink the post, but when I actually, if I just take a picture instinctively, like following your instincts is very important of what you think what people will connect with. I also ask myself as, a skilled pastry chef, what is it that people want from me? What is it that I can help them? What kind of needs can I help them with? And then I build out a lot of little properties that help them, whether it is a Sunday baking club where everyone bakes with me and I, guide them through all the difficulties that they face. So it's also about asking yourself, what is it that you can bring to the table? How can you help the people, and why are they coming to you? And sort of build out your content plan and your community around that. So I think for me, that's what really works. And then obviously encompassing what everybody else said about true and honest and trying everything as well.
But it's not fair, Pooja. Your prop is chocolate. How could you lose?
It's sugar. I mean, it's a drug already. It's drugs and drugs.
It is.
Anu, what are your tips? What are your tips to everybody?
My
who
tips,
wants to build?
I have just
Please give
about
us.
figured out reels like yesterday.
I saw your first reel.
I've made you try a
yesterday.
bunch of story filters. You have to give that credit to
Yeah,
me. I mean,
Anto was trying to make me use filters. Ankit from FB is trying to teach me reels. I'm just a disaster, but I'm trying. I'm enthusiastic.
yes. You're getting
That's
there
what I
now.
have going for me. Guys, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I know, Ashna, you don't like the word, but keep influencing.
Absolutely.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank you so much.
Wasn't this
you.
an Adda, Anu? Wasn't this a
This
proper
was
ad?
an
We
ad.
were all hanging out. Like,
We are all
literally.
hanging out. And
Yes, thank
Baba
you so
Anto,
much.
before we go,
Fantastic.
do you have any famous last words?
Do small things with great love. That's the last line.
Lovely.
Amazing.
Hi everyone, if you like this video, definitely subscribe to Film Companion.